Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for watching. I pretty excited about today's topic. Basically, going over some things that I've been doing recently in the past few weeks to a month. Some changes I made to try to better my tank a little bit. And you start up a tank and you do the basics. You get everything lined up and dialed in, and you're fairly happy, but you kind of look around and you say, hey, I wish this looked a little bit better, or I wished I could, work on this plan, or change something, try to, whether it be a plant that's got algae on it, or, a plant that's just not doing well. So I don't know, I'll start kind of in sequence to how I started things. Basically, I realized a few weeks ago, 2, 3 weeks ago, that I had an algae problem. And so first I had to identify what kind of algae it was. And I narrowed it down to diatom algae. It's like a brown algae, and it was growing on my plants. Um, there was a little bit on the glass. So before I tried any products or anything, I went the natural way and threw a pleco in there and tried to see what he could accomplish. This tank already had Siamese algae eaters in it, so they do a pretty good job. And I was just looking for a little extra boost, so decided to throw the pleco in there. You can see him actually swimming around there in the bottom left, but he's a good size. He's 3 inches or so, 3, 4 inches. He's getting big quick, so he'll be getting taken out here pretty soon. I don't want to starve him out, so I'm going to kind of, bounce him from tank to tank, not too often, but I've got another tank that is somewhat highlight, so hopefully I can get the nutrients flowing in there and keep him happy, and I'll just throw some wafers or something in there for him. But anyway, besides the algae eater, I still had a brown algae on my leaves on some plants, alright? So I decided to try new algae. It's a liquid supplement. This tank, I think it was 2.5 milliliters I dosed it with, actually times 3. So, um, you know, 2.5 milliliter doses every 4 days, and I am noticing a huge difference, and I think it's related to that. Um, I've got some plants that they've always had brown algae on them, and then, like I said, more and more we're starting to get it, and that's when I realized I had a problem. So, but what I was getting at is there's plants in here that have always had algae, and there's nothing on them. They're perfectly spotless, and I know the pleco is not going crazy on the plants. I've watched him. They all can be different, but this guy, he hits some of the bigger leaf plants, but he doesn't bother with anything little. And yeah, Ludwigia is the plant that I'm talking about that, it's always had brown algae. And I'll show you in a few minutes here when we get through the things that I've been trying here. I'll show you some close-ups of the plants and, see if you agree that they look good. They look a lot greener, fuller, overall healthier. I mean, and the majority of them too. It's not just like one or two. It's the majority. They're doing a lot better. So I highly recommend new algae if you're having a problem. It also, what it does is there's a few types of diatoms. You get your bad and your good, basically. And what new algae does is it promotes the growth of the good diatoms, the ones that will overpower the bad. So you're doing that. You're also kind of supercharging your biofilter at the same time. So it's a really cool product, and it's super safe for fish, and it's relatively inexpensive. I mean, even for this size tank, this bottle is going to get me through, another month probably. Maybe not quite, maybe 3 weeks from here, but it's about a 6-week bottle for this tank, and this is 180 gallons. So, but other than that, guys, so that I really noticed a big difference, and that was within a week of trying the algae eater. So we know that that's helping. The next thing I decided to do, and I was dosing my fertilizers, all at once, the whole dose. And I was researching around and stuff and found that some people are breaking that weekly dose up into a daily dose. So it made sense to me because, you know, how does the plants can't use all that up at once. I know it's still in the tank, but why not just, it's more work, but I've noticed better results from it. I'm just doing like basically like a daily dose. So I'm splitting, you know, whatever the dose is, into seven, like basically, or roughly right around there. It doesn't have to be perfect. A little bit more or less isn't going to hurt anything. So Excel is one of the things I'm using. Definitely having awesome results with that. I do dose a little bit extra on that. You don't want to go too high. I've heard of doubling it with no problem, but it can be a problem to your fish, so you have to be real careful. So I stay on the safe side. And yeah, basically the only other thing I'm dosing is iron, potassium, and nitrogen, or no, I can't, I think that might be what it is. I don't know. Some other thing that I'm kind of experimenting with slowly. So another thing I used to get some of the stubborn algae was a little bit of hydrogen peroxide. So I bought this pump sprayer, and I pump it up. You just throw it right in the tank, and you actually spray the leaves, and it helps out with a lot of that brown algae as well. Try not to lean towards that as much, because that's more of like a band-aid for algae, along with all these other things I tried. But the last thing I want to talk about is something that I I didn't really think of until you know I was just trying to sit around and say, hey, how can I, if silicates are my problem, or really high phosphates for my water, is that why I have algae? Well, I didn't know, and there was really no way for me to figure it out. So what I did was I ended up trying Seachem's Phosguard, which is something I used in my reef tanks to remove phosphates from the water, but it also removes silicates. So I said, what the hell? So I start researching it, and there's a bunch of people out there that have done it, and they couldn't say more for the clarity of the water, the plants, the overall health of the fish, and everything. And the Phosguard, it really absorbs the silicates, which is what I needed, I think, and that's why everything's clearing up and looking so much better than it did. So Phosguard by Seachem, guys. I just took my canister filter, pulled the tray out, and literally filled a media bag and tossed it in there. Rinse it off first, huck it in there. It's been about a week. I noticed a difference in 2 days. My water was clearer, and everything from the past 3-4 days has been just nothing but better and better. Better color in the plants. Overall everything was good. So that's basically it, guys. That's what I'm doing right now. Got some plants coming in. I just got rid of the jungle val because it was just awful to trim. So got a little void over there on the right. There's a piece of driftwood sticking up. I got 3 or 4 plants coming in, so I'll update a video when I get those in, get those planted up. And other than that, guys, the only changes I've made since the last video is I did some trimming. Trimmed down the tops of everything that was almost touching the top of the water, and I replanted it below to make it wider. So I'm really trying to fill out the tank. But thanks for watching, guys. Look forward to another movie coming up, or another video, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching, and guys, please subscribe and share, and comment. I love when people comment, giving me ideas or whatever, or just opinions on what I'm doing, and if you've had luck with it. Thanks for watching, guys.